hopefully there's no issues. Crossing my fingers. But hello, everybody, and welcome back. Yes, I said back to Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. In case you didn't know, if you go all the way back to October, I uploaded the first part of Trust, which was the side story involving Monica and Sayori. Essentially, to describe what Doki Doki Literature Club Plus is, it is a expansion, basically, upon the already existing game. It has a lot more little extras, like pictures like this. You have all these here. You have all these beautiful little stuff, and you have unlock certain things too by unlocked by playing the game. Like the background here, you get this by Fish's Poem game in 20 seconds. You have one of my personal favorite art sketches slash artwork promo, which is this one. It's so cute. I love this so much. It is so adorable because it has just the three sides of everyone so perfectly. And I love it. I love these characters. People say I'm very attached to them, but it's like, this is my comfort game. It's a game I find a lot of comfort in playing and like watching other people play, because it's like, it's like, for all things considered, even though with the subtones of the game, it's a very cute game. And I know people get annoyed at me talking about it, but it's cute. I genuinely like it. But we're going to continue on part 2 of Trust. And I'm going to double check to make sure I have no encoding overloaded issues. Yeah, but if any like weird skips or lags in my voice or the game, I apologize. I'm hoping the encoding issue. Sometimes if I have my PC running for a decently long time, OBS has encoding issues. I did recently restart my PC, so not recently. I restarted maybe an hour ago. So I'm hoping it should have alleviated any issues, but worst case scenario, the footage is gonna be a little choppy, and I'll try and make sure it's not too bad, but I can't promise nothing. But we're gonna continue on part 2 of Trust, and you have understanding, respect, and I think there are 2 more. I want to confer with someone else who I know very well, Sophie. And have them let me know if there are any other stories that I'm missing, and if there are, and if there's a specific way to unlock them. But we're going to hop into part 2 of Trust, and I'll probably give you guys another episode of this, of Understanding part 1 and 2, somewhere later down the line. But I've talked over long enough. Let's hop on in. Another day passes in a flash, and it's already time for the next club meeting. Oh yeah, the side stories are not canon to the main game, by the way. Although Monica should have come with a plan for today's club task, she hasn't been able to shake her guilt and anxiety after reading Sayori's poem. I'm so stupid. How did I let myself be the center of attention? Sayori's going through these kind of feelings, and I'm letting her comfort me instead of the other way around. What kind of club president does that? This whole time, I didn't think to ask her about her own feelings. So much of a stupid vision. I think it's... Is it... There's a button. Somebody told us there's a button to remove this caption box. I can't remember what it is. So much of a stupid vision. Sorry, enters a club room with her usual smile. But upon seeing downcast Monica, her smile quickly fades in an expression of concern. Monica? Is everything okay? I'm really sorry. I'm such a terrible friend. Huh? What are you talking about? You're an amazing friend. Monica shakes her head. I mean, it's all about myself. Even you said so yesterday. Tell me that I'm trying to make the club that I need the most, right? But my problems are so trivial compared to yours. Sayori responds quietly. What are you talking about? But as she said that, her face darkens. Through the silence, Sayori mutters a realization. I left my folder here. Monica stares blankly ahead, unable to come up with a response. I wasn't ready to share those. Now you're worrying about me. I don't want that. But why? We're friends, right? Wordlessly, Sayori nods. Friends look out for each other. I want to be here for you as much as you're here for me. A long moment passes in silence. The air is incredibly heavy. This is different. It wasn't about you yesterday, it was about the club. Besides, things were so happy yesterday. You don't need to do this all of a sudden. I don't want it. I like happy. So, if you do this, then you're just being selfish. Monica massages her forehead, struggling through the frustration of such a paradox. It's understandable that Sayori isn't ready to share certain things, but as unfair it is for Monica to pry, it's also painful for Monica to force herself to ignore the needs of her friend. I'm sorry I looked. I disrespected your privacy. No, I don't blame you for looking. You would have at least needed to check if it was mine. Yeah. Monica takes a deep breath. And so do I. Okay. I understand that you don't want me to worry. I think I'll be able to put this aside so that we can move on. But can you promise me something? Promise you what? Monica pauses to collect her thoughts. This is the Literature Club. A place where people can express themselves in the ways that life normally doesn't allow them to. That's the vision. In fact, it's our vision. Write the way into your heart or whatever. So I just want you to promise me that you remember that too. It doesn't have to be right now, but I want to be here for you when you need it. I want to be ourselves like that. Sayori smiles gently. I'll promise if you promise. Unable to help it, Monica returns Sayori's smile. I promise. Me too. Conversation closes. The room in the mood. The room in the mood. Wow, I am incredibly dyslexic. The mood in the room is lifted. With that behind them, it's time to proceed with the club activities. So, want to teach me about poetry? God damn, one thing that'll always get me a little emotional is the music in this game. Both Plus and the original have such emotional music, even though it's only classical and there's no real. It's like very cutesy. It still conveys a lot of emotion. Like hell, the credits song is still one of my favorite songs. Your Reality is still one of my favorite songs in gaming, next to 1,000 Years Away, or 1,000 Light Years Away, and then obviously Sonic tracks. But speaking of 1,000 Light Years Away, that's a game we'll be covering soon. If you know where that's from, good on you. You're about to see me suffer, because that game and its ending is very. Let's just say I have a straight history with that game. But there'll be a series on it. It'll be a brief series. I hope. But I'll be playing it. Huh? But what about recruitment? It's fine. We have plenty of time for that. But right now, I feel like I want to do this. I mean, I do have to fulfill my end of the promise, you know? There's no way I can say no to that. Just don't expect much. I do a lot of writing, but it's not like I'm a scholar or anything. Oh, excuse me. I ate dinner like an hour ago. That's fine. I think I just needed, some motivation. I never know where to start when it comes to writing poems. Starting isn't so hard. You just kind of need to write down your feelings and see where it takes you. Yeah, but that wouldn't come out any good. It's not supposed to. You have to fight your perfectionist mind on this one. You just start by writing your feelings and see what kind of things it makes you think of. You can turn your feelings into a little story. You get your feelings down first and make it sound pretty later. It's not like building a railroad where you go from one to the other. It's more like a collage. We find all the things you want to put in, then you arrange them in a pretty way. This is how I do it. It's not like the only way. It's a really good way to not get stuck right at the beginning. I understand. I always get so caught up in how it sounds that I forget about what's actually important. Monica pulls out a pen and paper to start writing on. Stop being a perfectionist. You idiot. I'm just kidding. Monica scribbles out "you idiot" after she writes it down. No, keep it. What? Why? Are you calling me an idiot? Of course not. Wait, you're not supposed to police your feelings, right? Be as dramatic as you want. But I was just... Well, yeah. Underneath the scribble, Monica rewrites, "You idiot." She stares at the paper. Her words stare back at her. It's kind of funny how I wrote down what I'm mad at myself for, then I did the exact same thing anyway. This is all going to take some getting used to. I believe in you. Thanks. I do too. Me, I mean. But also you, of course. Monica continues to exercise, jotting down her thoughts. It's surprisingly quite a struggle to write without overthinking it. After a while, with Sarah's guidance and encouragement, Monica's sheet of paper begins to look fairly lively, peppered with all of her random thoughts. Phew! Monica looks up and down at her sheet. Gosh, I feel so tense looking at this. I hate it. It's also kind of liberating. I can tell how hard you're trying. It makes me happy. I'm definitely good at writing poems. Don't give me too much credit. I'd have to try really, really hard at it. I think it's something that I'll enjoy doing. Theory beams. I'll stop here, but we still have time. I started working on a new flyer for the club. I won't be so picky about the language. Hey, let's do it. Monica and Sarah proceed with their work. Each batch of day, the two of them become more confident in the club. Not simply from their recruitment planning, but from their vision as well. Their bond strengthens, so is this essence of the club. Finally, they begin to truly feel it's only a matter of time before they find more members. Another day passes. As usual, Monica's the first one in the club room. With her, it's printed out the revised liturgical flyer, complete with the all new ideas Monica and Sarah came up with. Only this is the flyer we gave to that one reading girl the other day. It's much more attractive than the old one, but new catchphrases feature clearly in the center of the flyer. Write the way into your heart. Surely common sense would say that one writes from the heart, not into the heart. Message being delivered as one can use writing to discover themselves. Hopefully, Monica and Sarah had thought that it would be enough to garner some curiosity from students. But I feel so tense looking at this. Monica thinks back to the previous meeting when she performed the writing exercise. Was I always this bad at exercising myself? How am I supposed to be present if I can't even demonstrate what the club is supposed to be about? The literature club is truly beginning to take form, but with that, the weight on Monica's shoulders only becomes heavier. Excuse me. My mouth is getting filled with water because I've been talking for so long. It's something I have to deal with a lot, but it does happen from time to time where my mouth gets heavily salivated. And sometimes I stutter over my words because of it. So forgive me if I pause to quote-unquote swallow all my saliva. Sorry to be gross, but it happens. It's a human thing that can happen. Debate club is always about rigid structure, formulating airtight points and counterpoints and delivering them with conviction. It was about the person on the outside. That's why Monica's so good at it. It existed entirely within her realm of comfort. It's suffocating. I need to break through this mental wall. I need to learn to express myself. For real. Monica pulls out a sheet of paper and grabs her pen. Press the tip of the pen firmly against the paper. But her hand doesn't move. Instead, a tiny blot of ink collects around the tip of her pen. Monica lifts her pen and stares at the little blotch. For some reason, she feels compelled to run her finger across it. As she does so, black ink spews across paper, ruining Monica's canvas. Despite for herself, Monica presses her pen down once again, letting the ink collect. She a second smear on the paper. Come on, Monica. Just move your hand. Monica writes. This is what I get for seeking perfection. A stain. Monica sets the paper away from her and puts her head down the desk. The air conditioner seems louder today. I'm here. Hi. Monica hears Sarah approach her desk and then stop for a second, probably reading the piece of paper. Then she sits down on the adjacent desk. Bad day? Mm-hmm. Me too. You too? The new flyer looks so good. You've been working so hard. On the club, but also something else, I think. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Yeah, there we go again. It's hard to just be vulnerable. Sarah takes a sheet of paper from Monika's desk. She writes something down, then stares at it for a while. Can I trust you? Of course. Trust you with anything. Sarah gazes at Monika with sadness in her eyes. Saying the signal, Monika takes the paper from Sayori's desk and reads it. Sometimes I want to die. Sayori. This is really, really hard for me. Her voice shakes. So if I can do it, then you can too. Because you're like a million times better than me. That's completely not true. Sayori takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself. That's something about me that I never told anyone before. Even now, my head is like screaming at me to stop. Wait, you don't have to force yourself. I mean, just because of the promise yesterday, I want to. It just feels right. I mean, maybe it's part of the reason I came to this club in the first place. This is the literature club. I trust you. More than I'm scared. So at those words, Monika stands up. So it must have taken days to work up the courage for this. Were Monika's own futile but genuine efforts actually the push that Sayori needed? Sayori's deliberate breaths can be heard over the air conditioner. Ready to continue, Monika waits in gentle silence. I have this problem where I get really upset when people worry too much about me. Can't control it. It's like, why waste your energy worrying about me when you could just be happy instead? So I'm not telling anyone these kinds of thoughts I have. So it moves you to just smile and help everyone else be happy. That's terrible. That's what Monika wants to say, but she stops herself in fear of saying the wrong thing. It's just that if everyone knew about it, they wouldn't treat me the same anymore. Like whenever I'm not smiling, everyone would worry about me and ask what's wrong. I know that because it used to be like that. Oh God, all these characters, in a weird way, I have some form of like relate to scenario, and it's sad that literally all four of them, I have scenario that I relate to, and I feel like Sayori's is probably the worst out of the four, in terms of like problems that I have. And it's all just involving just depression in general. And that's what her whole... like, if you didn't know already, obviously spoilers for the main game, but... the whole thing about the four characters is that they each have a trait that sort of brings them down. And Monika, since she is in the main game, has full control over the game itself, as she is sort of meant to be a meta-breaking force. She sort of enhances upon those features that they have. So, for example, Sayori is more depressed. Yuri is a little bit more psychotic and clingy, and Natsuki is a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more almost like, play with me. Like, why aren't you, like, almost jealous, like tsundere-esque. I've never done her route, so it's just the only Yuri's route I've done, and I've done Sayori's route through Blue Skies. Which, by the way, if you haven't played Blue Skies mod, it does get very adult towards the end, but I definitely recommend playing it because it's one of the best, if not the best mod I have played for Doki Doki Literature Club in the past year, in the time I played with this game. But Sayori's is the hardest one, because it's like, her line of basically saying that, I don't know, I'm going off topic and not playing the game, or reading. I know her whole line of like, why worry about me and waste energy on doing that when you can just be happy? It's it's kind of funny that I kind of go through that a lot, because that's something I deal with myself. It's it's something that I tell others sometimes whenever people start worrying about me when it comes to being open about my emotions. And it's like, people ask me, well, why don't you open up more? Because it's like, it's a mixture. I'm afraid of hurting people, and also I'm afraid of just being... I'm afraid of being a burden on them for the sole fact of I'm making their day worse by them having to deal with me venting to them. You know what I mean? It's like, it's nothing against that. It's not saying I don't like venting to people. It's just I feel bad doing it. And it's one of the reasons why this game, I will say, if you're going to play the main game, that gives you warnings right at the front, but it is very, very triggering experience for those who go through these kind of emotions and stuff like that. But the main thing I definitely want to send from this is, like, don't be me or Sayori and actually try and tell people your problems. Because then maybe even this one person, maybe listening is important. So if maybe just one person listens and helps you, that can make the difference. And, yeah, this music isn't helping. Like, this music isn't helping me not cry. Sayori pauses, seeming to recall something in the past. I just want everyone to be happy. That's the most important thing to me. And if people look inside my head, it doesn't bring happiness to anyone. Again, that right there. Right there. Sorry, I just want everyone to be happy. That's the most important thing to me. When people look inside my head, doesn't bring happiness to anyone. And then if you look about the second from the top, Sayori, like, whenever I'm not smiling, everyone would worry about me and ask what's wrong. I went through that a lot during high school. A lot of people would ask me why I sat alone, and not even just high school, it's also like elementary school and stuff like that. Like between 1st and 8th grade, it was obviously before anything that happened recently with being closeted now, but in general, just the emotions of people trying to help and trying to pry, but them not knowing what's really going on, and sort of just the idea of them trying to pry into something that I feel like they really don't want to find out about. It's hard. And again, this is why this game is weirdly my comfort game. Because this game to me is more than just a psychological dating sim / visual novel. It's something where I've been able to relate to the characters in one way or another. And I hope that when we do one of Natsuki's stories, I can bring up the other major one. Out of the two, Sayori and Natsuki's issues are the hardest. That, in terms of relating to me. Monica and Yuri are minor, but obviously when those things come up in the side stories, I'll talk about them. I didn't talk about them in the main game, but I definitely want to talk about them now. And I'm sorry for having these go on during the video, and it's like, it's making me think about it. And it's part of the reason why I haven't done the series and just continued doing it. Because one, people didn't seem to want it that much, and two, I wanted to kind of let the hype of it simmer down a little bit, as well as I just didn't have a video for today because I've been prepping for Witch Queen, Destiny 2 stuff, so it's just I haven't had time to play anything else. I've been on and off with COD, but I thought I'd upload something a little bit different. I know it's a weird way to have a Monday, but everyone has a case of the Mondays. So hopefully you all guys can unwind with me and sort of maybe you'll relate to some of these things. Sayori pauses again, her solemn expression making her look almost like an entirely different person. Oh god. We're gonna go down the road that I'm thinking. How'd you find the courage to tell me this? You're not worried that I'll be one of those people too? I am worried. Part of me really hates myself for doing this. But another part of me, I think, just felt like it would be different this time. Whenever we talk about what the club's supposed to mean, I kept feeling like it was right for me to do. Especially after you've been trying so hard to express yourself too. This made me feel like I could say it in confidence and our friendship doesn't have to change. It's so silly. The club is only 2 people, but it already means this much to me. Monica feels a tightening sensation in her heart. Are we gonna get the thing I think we're gonna get? The thumbnail, basically. The no connection to Sayori's emotion radiate between them. Me too. I was so lost until you showed up. You're so brave, Sayori. You're so strong and brave, I don't even compare. Monica steps forward. But if nothing else, I can at least offer you some hug energy. Yep. If you'd like. I love the new CGs. I'm gonna say that right now. The new CGs for the plus side stories are beautiful. We're the same without a smile. Sarah rests her forehead on Monica's shoulder. Through their contact, Monica can almost feel the torrent of thoughts swimming in Sayori's head. And at this moment, enchanted by the air of the club, Monica realizes that all the days have passed. That of all the days that have passed, this is the one where she really, really hopes nobody new walks through the door. She speaks softly. You're like the sweetest girl I've ever met. You could say anything. I'll never judge you. I really wish I could get a screenshot of that. Oh my god. Oh, I might actually make this a thumbnail and just zoom into the faces a little bit. Well, we'll see. I promise. Sayori's breath begins to quiver. Takes several deep breaths, trying as hard as she can to start speaking, to say the things she never once dared to say out loud. Finally, she speaks in a choked voice. I'm so worthless. I'm worthless and everyone would be better off without me. She spreads a sob as a tear falls down her cheek. I'm just an inconvenience to everyone. I'm not good at anything, and it just feels like everyone just has to put up with me. And I hate it. I hate it. God. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm being 100% transparent. I'm tearing up a little bit. Because those 4 lines. Those 4 lines. Oh, God. Oh, breathe. Yeah, those 4 lines are something I hear in my head every single day. Oh. Yeah, I'm crying a little bit. The more Sayori speaks, the more she feels to control her voice, falling victim to the overwhelming sadness clutching at her throat and chest. I don't want to have these thoughts. I want them to go away. I'm making you put up with me, and I just want to die. Soon as Sayori loses composure, Monica pips turn to keep her own. She only wants to be what Sayori needs right now. She won't let any sadness show. Her voice comes through soft and gentle. This isn't putting up with you. I'm just being your friend. Monica offers a few words of comfort. But she knows, Sayori said herself, that the thoughts Sayori experiences are ones that don't belong. And Monica can't magically make them go away. The most she can do is help Sayori battle them like any good friend would do. You have so much value. To me and your other friends too. This club wouldn't have been the same without you. I really, really mean that. You coming here was the best thing that could have happened. Even if we never got any other members, I would still be happy. That's what you brought here. You brought us a vision, and you also brought happiness. And that's a pretty thing to do, right? Sayori doesn't respond, but Monica feels her gently nod. No more words are needed between them. The two share their embrace for a while longer, Monica letting Sayori take as much time as she needs. Once her breathing steadies and her sniffles fully cease, Sayori lifts her head and wipes her eyes. Oh, fuck. I guess I needed that. Some days are harder than others. I'm here whenever you need me. Any other time, I'll make sure that things are the way they usually are. If that's what makes you happy. Mm-hmm. Thanks. You're the best. No, you are. The two exchange smiles. You know, I'm sorry to bring this up all of a sudden, but have you considered talking to a professional? Sorry nods. It's scary. It's already so hard to tell people. Yeah. Well, of course, it'll always be your choice. If you're looking to find the courage for it, I could do my best to help you. Thanks. I think it helps knowing that you would. Suddenly, Sayori suddenly yawned and stretches. Yep, we're back to normal Sayori. Oh, that made me tired. And hungry. Well, I won't make you do any work today for now, for it. Well, I want to. I mean, I say it's definitely one thing that makes me happy. Monica smiles. But I want to get a snack first. There we go. Back to Sayori normally. All of a sudden, the sound of the door causes the two of them to turn their heads. The door opens halfway, then stops. A face peeks inside. I wonder who this is. Face that seems familiar. And that's the end of Trust Part 2. We'll find out who that face is. This Trust Part 1's ending. Is this Trust Part 2? Oh, you get both of those. Okay. Let's see. Where's the new picture? Oh, right here. We got the CG for this. Ah. Oh, look at that. I love these two. Again, it's my comfort game. Leave me alone. I love that. It's so cute. Any others? Nope, that's it. Music. We probably got the hug energy. Yep, there it is. That's a good. I love that. That's God. That song. Ah, my heart. Dusk. I need to remember to keep that in mind. But yeah, you have for those curious, for the playlist, you have. No, you don't have a play. Yeah, so for some of these you have like stuff that's exclusive to Plus that are new. But then if you go up here, you have the normal soundtrack from Dan Salvato. Not gonna lie, that song gave me a chill down my spine. But I think I'm gonna end off the episode by looking at the CG because God. This scene was emotional. It just was. That being said, hope you guys did enjoy this episode of Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, and this part of the side story. I know this video went on way longer than I really needed to, but I don't ever get to talk about things like this in terms of with context that it actually makes sense. So yeah, I feel like that's sort of just a nice. It's not really nice to end on, but hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you want to see the rest of Doki Doki Literature Club Plus' side stories in upcoming videos that's gonna be sort of spread out. I'm gonna try and get them a little more consistent. I'm not gonna make them like a double up or anything. So like if there's a day where I don't have a video, you might see these every so often. I'm gonna try and do at least once a week, just randomly throughout the week. Some of you guys have a little bit, and I can get this off my list of backlogs. That's the other reason why I need to get off my backlog. But yeah. Hope you guys did enjoy this, and I'll see you guys next video live stream I said to make. Have a good day, buddy. Stay safe, and yeah, just be safe. Please, for my sake.